Hello everybody out there in Flosstube world. This is Vicki, aka the Virginia Stitcher, coming to you with my Flosstube video number 40. Today is Thursday, May 10th of 2023, and I'm here to give you my April wrap-up, what I stitched on for the month of April and what I did in my stitching life. So I know I've been doing Mania this month. The last video I put up, I was showing you my Mania plans, and I have been working on that. So we're 10 days into Mania and it's all going good. I posted on my Instagram probably the first 3-4 days, and then I slacked. I'm not real good at taking photos of my projects and trying to upload things. I'm not huge into social media. So I get on there, I post some, but I forget most of the time. So forgive me, but you will see it in my next video. Will more than likely be my Mania wrap-up video of what I did for Mania this month. So like I said, this is May 10th, so we're 10 days in. My Mania is going to last for 23 days, and then because I'm doing 23 whips or new starts for the first 23 days of this month, and then the last week of the month I'll stitch on whatever I want. I'll let it be a sweewee, stitch what I want when I want. So welcome. I don't think this video is going to be really long because this is kind of impromptu. I meant to film last week, but I had a nasty migraine that would not go away for 5 days. I was, for those of you that suffer from migraines, I guess you'll understand, I was having what I call a sick headache. I wasn't actually, vomiting or anything, but it makes you feel off. Your head aches, lights and sounds seem amplified, and just the all over general malaise of your body. I just wasn't feeling good. I didn't feel up to doing a video. I knew if I tried to, it would show in my video. I'd be, kind of, well, this is what I stitched. So I didn't want to do that to you guys. So I'm coming a little later than I wanted to. I am feeling much better. It finally went away after, like I said, 5 days. And that was probably 3 or 4 days ago. And then I've been so busy. And I thought, I have an hour to squeeze in here between things that I've been doing. So I thought, let me get on here and get you guys my April wrap-up video before it goes too much longer. And also, because I have been so busy and just things, I think it's the weather. I think because it's getting nicer. I'm looking out my windows. It's a nice sunny day, about 70 degrees outside. I was outside cleaning off patio furniture, getting all the pollen off of everything and stuff like that. And I've been planting plants and pulling weeds. So I've been busy outside where lately the last few months I have not been. Through the winter I'm in the house. I'm not usually outside a whole lot, having to do a bunch unless we get that random snow, and then I might be out there shoveling snow or something. But that's usually I'm in the house in the wintertime and I'm not outside a whole lot. But it's been nice to go for walks with my husband. We've been working in the yard and also in the house. I also wanted to get this filmed because we just had somebody here yesterday measuring to put new flooring down here in the basement. We bought this house brand new, but it had the builder grade carpets in it. And these carpets are the cheapest of the cheap that they could find to put in this house. And they are just not holding up, even though we don't wear our shoes in the house. And we don't have little kids generally. I mean, I do if my grandkids are here, but that's not very often because most of my grandkids, half of them live out of state usually. So, so the wear and tear shouldn't be what it's showing on our carpet. So we were looking at putting flooring down here in the basement. And so that means all of this stuff is going to have to be moved out of here. And we haven't set up a date. We just got the quote yesterday. So we got to work on deciding, between us and the contractor when we could get it scheduled to get it done. So I might be busy for a couple of weeks there where all of my stuff will be thrown into the storage area or somewhere else in the house, and I won't be able to get to it. I'm going to plan ahead and put aside my Mania pieces or whatever it is that I'm working on at the time you know, for a couple of weeks worth of stitching and make sure I have all of the supplies and everything that I need, because I'm not going to be able to get to my fabric and my flosses and things like that, more than likely, or most of this stuff unless I set it aside. So I'm going to be probably busy doing that shortly. So I wanted to squeeze this video in here before another month went by and I didn't get a video in. So because I've been so busy, I also have been negligent on commenting back on most of the comments on my videos. I have read each and every one, and each and every one has touched my heart. And I thank you so much for all of your kind comments that you leave me each video. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And I don't want you to think I don't. But I think once before I said, you know, there's only one of me and several of you, and it's hard for me to get back to every single comment, especially if life is getting thrown in there. This month I have my youngest granddaughter's birthday falls on Mother's Day, so her birthday will be this weekend. So I need to do birthday shopping for her, and I'm going to celebrate with her. And you know, my mom lives out of state, but I'm gonna, you know, be busy. You know, I'm gonna try to catch up with her and things like that. So just like most of you, it's like it you know, life gets busy and life kind of gets in the way. In a perfect world, I would love to have like 10 hours to just sit and stitch and things like that every single day. I am retired, but it's true what they say. You retire doesn't mean you're not any busier. You just it seems like the day fills up. So, but it fills up mostly with fun stuff. And I can spread my chores out instead of doing everything on a weekend, trying to cram everything into the weekend because I'm working all week long. So that has been a relief. And I do get a little more stitching done than I used to when I worked full time. So anyways, you guys aren't here to hear about that. You're here to see the whips. What was I working on in April? And I do have to tell you, in April, I also went to my Ocean City retreat. I go there for about 4 days, usually Thursday through Sunday. They're stitching. So do I leave Wednesday? I can't remember. Like I said, migraine, I'm going to blame it all on my migraine for the week. Sometimes when I try to think too hard, my head still aches a little bit, or maybe it's just my brain. I don't know. It could be a little of both. But I went to my Ocean City retreat, and I was able to go to Salty Yarns. They have their new facility. They used to be located on the boardwalk in Ocean City, and now they've moved probably about 7 miles off the beach in the little town of Berlin, Maryland. So if you're ever in the area, check them out. They're right next to Tractor Supply. They have a huge sign right off of the road. It's right off of Route 50, I believe it is, that you take to go into Ocean City. If you're coming in to, I think, the south, it's considered the south side of Ocean City. Salty Yarns is located right there, and they are wonderful. I do have to say, the owner, Sarah, she is sweet. She keeps her store so stocked with everything, and it is just amazing what is in there. And the facility is probably, I don't know the square footage, but I would say at least 3 times bigger than what she had on the boardwalk. It is huge. And she has a huge back room where she does stitching classes and things like that. So, and retreats. But so I was there for my Ocean City retreat. It wasn't at Salty Yarns, but we do shop at Salty Yarns while we're there. So I do have a little bit of Salty Yarns haul. And I want to say thank you to Kathy, who works at Salty Yarns, for helping me. She was such a great help with my fabric, cutting my fabric, you know, being there. She just chatted with me. And I had seen her there before. And I am terrible with names, so I had to ask her name again. But she is the sweetest, sweetest, sweetest person. So if you're watching this, Kathy, hi. And it's great when the needlework shops have such great, sweet ladies working at them. And Salty Yarns does. So without much further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into my whips, because I'm almost 10 minutes into my video and I haven't shown you one piece of stitching yet. So the last thing that I was stitching on was really, I think, the last couple of days in March, because I filmed my video. Let me look back on my notes. I think my last video was filmed on March, not that one. Yeah, or no, April 4th. Huh, I don't know. So maybe I'm lying. Maybe I've showed this to you. I'm not sure. But this one is by Teresa Kogut. And I have a perfect Teresa. This is So Much to Love bag with Teresa Kogut bird fabric. So I thought how perfect to put this Teresa Kogut pattern in it. And this one is called Nature. This is the one she came out with at Market just recently. And I loved these funky birds and the colors and everything about this one. So I wanted to get it and start it. I am stitching this one on a piece of 32 count cream Lugana. And this is how far I am. I think the last time I showed this, the little bird wasn't finished. I didn't have the red parts on him and his little feet. I know I put these berries, the red, all the red, I can't remember if he had his beak or his eye, but I finished up the bird and did a couple of the little berries around him. And I believe a couple of the letters maybe. I think I might have had the star, but not the letters. So that is where I am on Nature by Teresa Kogut. I'm loving this one. I haven't touched it though since then. Like I said, I'm working on my mania plans. So some of these things I still want to pick up and work some more on. So that's why that one was still on a Q-snap, because I'm hoping to get some more work done on that one soon. The next piece that I have here is when I was at my Ocean City retreat, this was one of the pieces that I was working on. And this was a, I think, Expo release, or it was either Market or Expo last year in 2022. And this one is by Plum Street Samplers. Let me take it out of the plastic. Hopefully I'm not making too much crinkling noise for those with earbuds. But this one is called Live on Little by Plum Street Samplers. And I love the saying on this. And it says, how great the blessing and vast the art to live on little with a thankful heart. And I brought this to Ocean City because it's very beachy. You know, with the sailboat and all the water and the whales and the lobsters. And there's a little mermaid even down at the very, very bottom left corner. So I brought this with me and stitched a little more on it. The reason I brought this too was because I'm at a point where there's a lot of fill-in. So I sat there for probably a good day or two. And I'm trying to find out what fabric I've got this one on. Oh, here we go. Sat there for a good day or two and worked on just filling in while I was gabbing and talking. So this one is on a 28 count piece of Lugana, and it's by the Steel City Stitchers. So it's a no name. It's a Jody fabric, Jody Favish for the Steel City Stitchers. She does fabric dyeing. I probably picked this up at the Steel City Stitchers retreat that I went to last year. They just had their one for this year, the beginning of March, I believe it was. I did not attend that one, but I did enjoy when I attended last year. I just can't go to all the retreats all the time. My husband would wonder if he had a wife anymore. So here I am. I was working on filling in this blue water up here, and I also did the flags, and I'll explain those to you in just a minute. But let me see if I can see what you guys are seeing. So this is where I am on this 28 count piece of overdyed Lugana. So this block here is all that water. So I still have quite a bit more to fill in. But the flags on this ship right here, on the sailboat, I should say, she made where you could customize your flags. So on this is a chart that shows the nautical alphabet. It's A, B, C, A through Z, or A through Z. And I can't show it to you because it's kind of charted and I don't want to show up the chart. So mine is for my initials. V, this would be the nautical flag symbol for V. H for my middle initial, and U for my last initial. V, H, U. But that's where I was able to get to on Live on Little by Teresa Kogut. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Love it. This was one of those releases at Market or Expo that I saw and I was like, oh, I need to have that one. I must have, must do. And this one is in another So Much to Love bag. That's a beachy themed bag. So that was cute. That's a cute bag. This next one, I started two things while I was at my Ocean City retreat. So this is the next piece that I worked on. And this one is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And this is Hive Rules. And this was another release last year at either Expo or Market. I always get confused and I always forget which one's released when, but I do know it was last year. So by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and it's called Hive Rules. And I just loved all of the little rules here. Hive rules: be sweet like honey, mind your own beeswax, always be humble and kind, believe in yourself and others, and love and be loved. So I'm stitching this one. I started it there, worked on it for, like I said, a good day and a half. And I get a lot of stitching at my Ocean City retreat because it's a smaller group of ladies. So there's not a bunch, you don't have to get up to talk to everybody. We basically sit in a big table format. Well, not table, but like in a big circle, like in a big square. The tables are rectangle, so it's a big square. And the middle is usually empty unless we have stitchers that need to sit inside the circle because if we need extra seating when we get too crowded. But so I can see everybody and I can talk to everybody. We're all within a room that's not a whole lot bigger than my craft room because I have a decent sized craft room here. But I am stitching this on 28 count Lugana in the color Antique White. And I'm going to put a board behind it because I still have this one on the Q-snap. And this is where it ended. So this is what I was working on. Let me see if I can get that thread a little bit out of the way. And see, I have my bead needle minder that I made just from a little trinket I had purchased at either Hobby Lobby or Michael's or somewhere, or Joann's. But I got that far. This is the beginnings of a bee. Not quite finished. And I got be sweet. So I still need to finish the word sweet there. But isn't that cute? Isn't that adorable? So I thought this would be a cute summer piece to have out when I get it finished. So, and then the last piece that I was working on at my Ocean City retreat was another new start. And I've joined the group SYS 2023. Which stands for Stitch Your Stash 2023. And it is headed up by Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher, and I'm trying to think of the other lady. I think it's the Fanciful Flamingo, Alicia. And I think that's it. There might be one other one. But anyways, I'm in that group. And so far this year, everything that I have started or I've been already stitching on, like whips, but it starts, are things that I've kitted from my stash with at least the fabric or the threads or both. But this one, I ordered from Market, and this was a Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And this one is a reproduction sampler, and it's called Mary Ann Kopp, 1839. Looks like that. And I absolutely love this. I love the flower border. I love that big house. And this whole thing going on right here. The gate, the brick wall, the trees, the pathway. I just love the whole thing. So I wanted to get this started. And what I say by this was not Stitch Your Stash, this was part of my haul from Salty Yarns. While I was there, I thought, I had a piece of fabric. I thought if it was a piece of plain Lugana, it wasn't overdyed. And I thought, if all else fails, I'm going to stitch it on this. But if I find something at Salty Yarns that I like better, then I'm going to purchase that fabric and stitch it on that while I'm at my Ocean City retreat, my Tangle retreat. And I still needed the flosses. So while I was there, and I'm sorry, I'm stitching all of these that I've showed you with the called fors. I don't think any of those are any, I don't think I've switched any threads there. But I picked up all of the flosses while I was at Salty Yarns, while I was in Ocean City. So they're Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works. I think that's it. I don't think there's any Gentle Arts. Oh no, there is one Gentle. Looks like one Gentle Arts. These are all the called for colors for Marianne Kopp. So I picked those up, and she did have a piece of fabric that I loved. And this one is 32 count piece of Lugana, and it's by Be Stitch Me. So it's a brandy fabric from Be Stitch Me, and it's called Not Another Sampler. And I didn't have this one. I was in her club for a while, but this was not one that was ever sent to me. So Not Another Sampler by Be Stitch Me. And that's how far I got. I was loving this. I was working on it at Ocean City, and then I worked on it some more when I got home. Some more at the end of April. So, and that's just my needle minder. It's just another little bauble I bought and put a magnet behind it. But I love these flowers. And like I said, I love this. So I think that's the end of the brick wall. And then the iron work will go over to it. And then I started the pathway in the grass here, and then trees will come up. So the house, I think, starts somewhere, you know, like right in here will be the house. But look at this fabric. Isn't that gorgeous? Not Another Sampler. I love Brandy's fabric. Be Stitch Me fabric. She's one of my favorite dyers. So I got this far on Marianne Kopp. And she's still on her Q-snap because I'm hoping to get some more stitching on her before she takes a rest for a little while she gets a little siesta. So called for threads and that fabric. I picked that fabric because it's not the called for, but it was my choice for that. And actually when Sarah, the owner of Salty Yarns, when she was helping me with my fabric there, she even agreed. She goes, yeah, that fabric's gonna look really nice. This is a project bag that I made using Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, her tutorial that she did, probably been 2 years ago now, on her channel. So she's on YouTube. You can check out her project bag tutorial. It's real easy because if I can do it, pretty much anybody else with a sewing machine can do this. And then I have a little owl on this, a little owl charm that I put on there for a zipper pull. And then the fabric in the inside is just the same polka dotty fabric that's on the top of the bag. So that was that one. And then I was feeling a little patriotic. And this has been my stitch that I was stitching on outside in the TV room down here with my husband. And we have been caught into, when I was at my Ocean City retreat, I was sitting next to Trisha, a friend of mine, and she said, she kept, you know, in the evenings or whatever, going back up to her, she'd go back up to her room, she goes, I'm really into these Murdoch mysteries, and she goes, I'm going to go watch one. And so she'd go up to her room for a little while and take a break and go watch her Murdoch mysteries, and she was like, they're so good, they're so good. And she said, they're on Hulu. And I was like, well, we have Hulu. So I decided to check it out with my husband. And we've been watching Murdoch Mysteries. But unfortunately, there's only maybe a week left. And it's going to be deleted off of Hulu. And I'm like, no, because there's like, I don't know, 15 seasons of Murdoch Mysteries. And I think we're only on season 2. Because we've been kind of binge watching that a little bit. But while I'm sitting there binge watching Murdoch Mysteries. So thank you, Trisha, for the recommendation of that show. I've been stitching on this All American by the Primrose Cottage Stitches. So I've been stitching on this because it doesn't have a lot of flosses. It's not a super difficult piece to stitch. So I've been enjoying stitching on this while I was watching TV with my husband, and I picked a piece of this is probably 28 count Laurel Green. I don't have a cheat sheet here. Lugana. And this is how far I am. So like I said, just in the evenings, I'd stitch on this and got this far. So I am using the DMCs, and then this called for Weeks Dye Works Louisiana Hot Sauce for the red, but instead I'm using Buckeye Scarlet. I think that's the one I'm using. I left the threads in the other room. They're still sitting in the TV room, so I haven't brought it in here. That's how far I am on All American. So I don't think I'll have this one done for this summer, but maybe by next summer, you know, done and framed and FFO'd and all of that mess. And then I also stitched on this one. This is a Garan toten bag that I got last year or the year before from Garan Stitchery. Ronnie makes these bags, and this one holds all three, because I hope to stitch all three of these eventually, of these Plum Street, Patriotic, Americana, where's the other one? Pieces. So the one I am working on is a new constellation. I'm working on that one. And previously I had already had it all kind of framed in. I did all the framework of it. And I had some of the flowers, a little bit of the flowers done. And this lady, this little bit done here, a couple of little things here. So I wanted to come in and do this flag, because I thought that's easy fill in, but that was a lot of stitches. I think I spent 3 days putting that flag in this one. But not only do I have a new constellation, I have the Heritage Sampler. So they're very similar in style. They're like, I believe they call it a Rhode Island style sampler. And the other one is the Equality Sampler. So I have all three of these that I hope to stitch. I want to stitch them all in the same color fabric. So they all live in this bag together. But I am working on a new constellation, and I was stitching in that flag. And this is 28 count Lugana in the color Sand by Picture This Plus. Hey, baby girl, what you doing? You want to say hello to the people? This is the older girl. This is my older baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't feel it? You're not feeling it? No? Should be 11 this year. She's not that old. She still runs and plays, but she's the senior doggy of the two we have. The other one's laying on a bed over across the room. They're keeping their eye on me right now because they eat around 4:30, and I don't know what time it is, but I'm sure it's not even close. Oh, well, it's almost 4 o'clock already. Never mind about that. So I was able to get the flag in. So like I said, this is 28 count Sand Lugana by Picture This Plus. Let me see if I can. It's kind of wrinkly. So that's where I am. So like I said before, I had put in all the structure and this stuff. So I came in here and I filled in that, but that is solid stitching. Simple and easy, but solid stitching. But I was able to get that put in. So that's where I am on a new constellation by Plum Street Samplers. And this was my very, 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 very first venue into stitching over one on, that's why this is on a Lugana, because the words up there are stitched over one. So that was I was so proud of myself. I started this for Flag Day, June 14th, last year. Was it last year? I think so. And that was my very first trying to do 1 over 1. So I was like, yay, I did it. I was so afraid. And that's why it's on 28 count and not 32 count. I thought if I'm going to do over 1, I'm going to do it on bigger size Lugana. Sweetie pie. You tired? I know, it's almost dinner time, huh? I get finished with this. I guess I got to feed puppies. Okay. Then I worked just a little bit more on my my Sunday stitch last month. I haven't worked on my Sunday stitch this month because I'm doing Mania, and it's trumping working on my Sunday stitch. But my Sunday stitch right now, one of them is His Eyes on the Sparrow. This is by Heartstring Samplery, Beth Twist. And kind of a unofficial goal, something I'm trying to achieve is like, it was like, if I could get this top section up to where the banner that says His Eye is on the Sparrow and I know He watches me, if I could get that whole top section, this band up here done by the end of the year, I'd be happy with that. So I am stitching this one on a piece of, I can't remember, it's 32 or 28 count. Lugana in the color Vintage Country Mocha. And I'm using some of the called for, some I picked out myself, colors. And all of these I'm stitching with 2 threads. So I stitch 2 over 2 on all of these, or 2 over 1 if it's on an Ada. And let me try to see if I can, I think I was working on the border a little bit more. Let me see. Let me half this. Let me fold it in half first and show you, because this is pretty much most of what I have. This is where I am. This is what I have done. And I want to say that when I picked it up again, I'm trying to think of where I was. I think I only picked it up the one Sunday, and I think I just put in, you know, some of these leaves here and maybe 1 or 2 of these flowers. And that was it. That's as far as I got. And my border, I need to get working on it, you know, try to get it the rest of the way around because I want to make sure my border meets up. So it only goes that far there on that side. And I've done it down to that far on this side. But if I could finish filling in all of this over here, and maybe making sure my border meets, that would make me happy. Happy, happy, happy. It's almost a mirror image, but not quite, from this side to that side, because there was a horse. This is kind of the middle right here, the middle of the piece. So there was a horse here and a horse there, but they're a different color. And there's another cow over here. And there's another basket of flowers, but I don't think it's exactly the same. Maybe with my chart. Yeah, it is, but just different colors. So if you see, there's a basket of flowers, there's a basket of flowers. There's a deer, but they're slightly different colors. There's a peacock on each of these corners, a cow, a horse, and then there's just random birds and things all through here. And then you get down here and you have a big, huge tree and Adam and Eve and some more birds and animals and stuff. So that's where I am on His Eyes on the Sparrow. Still enjoying this one. My other Sunday stitch right now is A Savior's Praise by Shakespeare's Peddler, Kitten Stitcher, Teresa Vignette. But I haven't worked on that one in a little while because the last one I worked on was that one, and I haven't done a Sunday stitch this month. So, and I didn't do my Sunday stitch when I was in Ocean City either. This one is my Hands Across the Sea. This is my big, beautiful lady. Her name is Elizabeth Weston, and it says Elizabeth Weston circa 1830. She looks like this. She is large and gorgeous. So I did some more work on her, and I'm trying to remember what I'm stitching her on. I don't know if I wrote it down. I believe this is a 32 count because she's so big. I wanted to do it on a 32 count Lugana and not a 28 because she'd even be bigger. And this one is Stone Gray is the color. And I will show you. So she's on a huge piece of fabric. Got a dog sitting right here, so She's not liking me covering her with my fabric. Let's see. So I did a lot of border stitching this time. So this is where she is right now. Let me see if I can see what you guys are seeing. I brought the border over. This one up here and this one here. I was working on bringing over my borders. I'm trying to border in that whole top section at least. I also did this little bit of 1/1 stitching, this little bit of lettering here. It says next unto God, so it's starting the verse. And I filled in these flowers down here and a bunch of this here. So that's what I worked on when I last picked up Elizabeth Weston last month. Let me show her to you a little slower, a little up close. I had one commenter a while back when I showed her, asked if it was all cross stitches or specialty threads. So far, this is all cross stitches. The only specialty I've done so far, if you call it specialty, is the over one stitching there for the words. Okay. Otherwise, all the rest of this is regular X's, regular cross stitch. There is a little bit of satin stitches, and I think there might be a little eyelet stitches in this, maybe. And then the 1/1. Nothing too terribly difficult. So that is where she is. There, full thing. She's so pretty. And if I could get this whole top section of her done this year, that would be awesome. I have so many whips that, you know, just I call it whittling away at them. I just whittle away, whittle away. You know, and just keep stitching on them, enjoying them, loving them. And when they get finished, they get finished. So and that will be bonus time. Plus, it might be a little sad. Like one of these days when I get her finished, I might be like, oh, you know, what am I going to do? She's finished. I can't spend time with her anymore. And then I need to pay a fortune to frame her, because I definitely want to get this one framed. Definitely do. So she is a beauty. And then my next beautiful lady is one of my Mirabilias, and this one is my Spring Queen by Mirabilia. She is gorgeous. She unfortunately is out of print. I was able to find her right after she went out of print. It was one of the times I was at Salty Yarns, and I was looking for her. I was looking at the Mirabilias, and they had one. She was stuffed behind a bunch of other random, you know, other Mirabilias. And there was one in the rack, because I looked to see if there were more. Because if there were, I was thinking about picking up another one and doing it as a giveaway, but they only had the one. So, beautiful. And I am stitching her on a piece of 32 count Lugana in the color Lavender. I'm going to put a board behind her because she's still on a Q-snap. And this is where I am. This is where I am on her. So I started a middle start most of the time on my ladies, because there's no border around them. There's no defining border. I usually will start in the middle. So her middle was somewhere in here. So I have stitched, you know, this area right in here is what I'm stitching. So that's where I am so far on her. Isn't she pretty? She's going to be gorgeous on this purple fabric. Love it. She's very springy and beautiful. So, and my last whip was a new start in April, and I found out that Heaven and Earth Designs was having a sale, a 50% off sale. I don't think it's still going on. I'm not sure. And I had to pick up a couple, and I started this one. This artwork is by Andy Russell, and this is called Hidden Harbor. I loved the colors of this one. Love, love, love it. So I am way up here, just up here in the sky where it's like purples and blues up there. But I can't wait to get down into all this beautifulness. So I am stitching this on a piece of 16 count white Aida, just plain white Aida. One that I picked up, I think, at Hobby Lobby. Came in a big tube. And stitching it with, I'm stitching 2/1 full cross on 16 count Aida. That's all I have. I have just a little over 1% done. So I got a long way to go. But that's part of the sky. That's just part of that sky up in the corner. So that is it. That one's not too exciting to look at yet. I know, like these full coverages like that, the Heaven and Earth designs and things, those take a while before they look exciting. So I'm not, you know, that's just kind of, that's done. You know, I got maybe, I don't know, 1,800 stitches in it or something. So not much to look at yet, but I'm hoping to get there and get into some pretty neat part of the design. So I talked to you about, those were my whips. That's everything I worked on in the month of April. I talked to you about my retreat a little tiny bit. And I showed you that I bought the supplies for Mary Ann Kopp. And I did pick up a couple of other things while I was at Salty Yarns. And I must have been in a Halloween kind of mood because everything, yeah, I bought 2 more patterns. The first one is a Kathy Barrick, and it's called Jack's Urn. It's been out for a while. Well, I liked it, and has lots of stitching in it, so of course it's up my alley. You know, gotta stitch crazy, lots of stitching. So I picked up this one, and then I picked up a Plum Street Samplers one that's been out for a little while. I don't know what the date is on this one, but it's called Jack's Bash. Oop, and it goes this way. A lot of Paulette puts a lot of her sideways. Jack's Bash. And I went ahead and kitted it with the overdyes that it calls for. So I can get a piece of fabric out of my stash and start this one whenever I want. This one, I'm sure I have fabric in my stash, and this one comes kitted with either you use MPIs or DMC, and I'm probably more than likely going to use the DMC, although there's not a lot of NPIs in this particular one. There's only, well, there's one Silken Colors in the color Wood Smoke, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, only 12 colors in this thing. Although I'm sure there's quite a bit of the black color. What would that be? I don't know which one that is. Probably, I don't know if that would be Burnt Umber or Sable Brown. Because there's some grays in here, mosses, greens. But isn't that beautiful? Pretty pretty. So that was what I bought. That was my haul. I did get my cottage garden threads from Garon Stitchery, but I already put them in my stash. I went ahead and sorted them, put them in with my other overdyed threads. But I have seen a lot of floss tubers that get those. They've already showed the colors. They're beautiful. They're like turquoisey, greeny blue colors. They're really pretty. Sorry, but I already put them on my stash. And then the other little bit of news that I wanted to tell you, stitchy stuff, is I'm going to go ahead and participate in a stitch along. It's not like a planned stitch along. It's not a stitch along. Sorry, my nose is itching. It's not a planned stitch along as far as like you have to get this amount completed by this date. So a lot of times my stitch alongs that I do are like start alongs. So I'm going to do this start along with Pam Schaffner from Just Keep Stitching. She's PG Soap on Instagram. She is, on June 11th will be her 30th anniversary of the day that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she wanted to do a stitch along, and I think it's called Pam's Survivor Stitch Along, SAL. And the pattern is by Praiseworthy Stitches. And this one is it's the Courage one. And here the model is stitched in kind of red and pinkish colors. But I'm going to, Pam's doing hers for breast cancer. But I am joining in solidarity with her and lots of people I know that have been infected by cancer. My dad died from brain cancer. That color is gray. I have several friends. I have probably about 12 friends that have battled breast cancer in forms or other, whether it was with mastectomies or in radiation and chemo, or lumpectomies with localized radiation treatments and things, you know, different treatments that the ladies, all the different ladies have had. I have a not blood kin to me, but my cousin's wife died of, and her sisters, and I believe her mother even, all died from a hereditary form of really aggressive breast cancer. And her two twin daughters, my cousin's two daughters, both went and had themselves tested. They're in their 20s, and they tested for the BRCA gene that she carried, and they both have it. So they both have gone and had mastectomies as a preventative measure to keep them from dying, hopefully, from breast cancer like their mother and their aunts and their grandmother did. Their mother was they were babies when she passed away. She was only in her early 30s, so they wanted to catch it early and be aggressive with their treatment and go ahead and have the mastectomies. So they both did. And they're young mamas. They both have little babies and stuff. So breast cancer definitely is one of the ones that I know a lot of my friends and family have dealt with. Colon cancer. I have a friend who, somebody I know that passed away from colon cancer. My granddaughter's father, young, got colon cancer and had to have a lot of treatments for his colon cancers. A large portion of his colon has been removed, all kinds of stuff. And he was only young 40, like maybe 42 when he got diagnosed, maybe 40, 41. He's on the other side of it. Has to go and get tested every 6 months still, but he's on the other side of it. He's doing well. But it was a long bout, hard fight for him to deal with that. And another girlfriend of mine, her husband had skin cancer, then colon cancer, and then eventually died from brain cancer. I have another very, very good friend of mine, my best friend. Her husband right now is battling a serious case of melanoma, so skin cancer. So there is a lot of cancer. So I was trying to, long story short, sorry about all of that. I couldn't decide on a color, gray or purple or, teal, for all the different kind of cancers, pink. And I decided there's a chart in here in this. And actually this pattern I picked up at my my Ocean City retreat, at my Tangle retreat. This pattern actually belonged to the lady who passed away recently that was in our group. And I happened to just pick this up off of the table. I thought, oh, I love this, Courage. I love it. And then Pam said she wanted to stitch this for a stitch along. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just picked up this pattern. Now, if you want this pattern, I don't think 1, 2, 3 Stitch or anybody like that is carrying it. But I know that Pam not Pam, Stephanie has said that Keepsakes is ordering this in if you wanted to join along in this stitch along. If you want more information on the stitch along, watch Just Keep Stitching with Pam and Stephanie, and Pam will tell you more about it. And you can also follow along with her Instagram on this one. And there is a sheet in this pattern that says all of the different colors and for the different cancers. Where is it? Oh my goodness. You know, you try to be organized and you go and, oh my goodness. I know I saw it. Urgh. It was in here. I couldn't have put it somewhere else. Maybe it's on one of these sheets. Hold a minute. Sorry about that, people. Yes, here we go. Here we go. Where are my glasses? I'm gonna read this. So all of the different colors. And like I said, I was trying to figure out. That's not it either. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness. Cancer ribbon colors. Okay. So she listed, I can't show the bottom of this page, but she listed all of the different cancer ribbon colors that she had right here. Okay. And I'm going to do lavender because I'm going to do all cancers. Since, you know, because I thought, well, I could, and I had a sister-in-law years ago that died from ovarian cancer. So, you know, that's teal. Brain cancer is gray. You know, colon cancer, melanoma is black, you know, and I thought there are so many more friends of mine that are, you know, battling cancers and stuff like that, that I thought, let me just do all cancers. And so what is so apropos on this, it says what they wrote about this pattern. It says, courage is a part of a series of Quaker-inspired designs. The title, Simple Gifts, comes from the Quaker-inspired song, It's a Gift to Be Simple. The model was stitched on vintage 32-count vintage wild rose from Lakeside Linens with threads from A Gentle Art. This design, Simple Gifts, Courage, holds a special place in our hearts. We are celebrating all those in our lives who have struggled with different types of cancer. While we have charted our designs using the color for breast cancer, we are including with each chart a list of the different cancers with its colors and an alphabet, the same letters as the one in the chart, so that you can personalize it for your loved one or loved ones. If you move the initials around so that your loved one's initials are together, then they are represented on the sampler itself. You may want to stitch the survivors in a different color than those who have lost their battle with cancer. As part of our commitment to cancer eradication, we are donating 20% of all the profits from this chart to the American Cancer Society. By donating to the American Cancer Society, then all the different cancer research facilities can benefit. We hope that you will remember to watch yourself and those you love for warning signs of cancer. Influenced by the work of Jacqueline Holdsworth at Needleprint, we have collected and modified motifs from old Quaker samplers, and we hope that you will enjoy this series and its special motifs. So, I'm going to be starting this on June 11th with Pam from Just Keep Stitching, and going to get started on this. And I am going to stitch it with lavender colors for all cancers. So I looked in my stash and I picked a bunch of different ones. I wanted it to be very colorful and different looking. So I was telling you I get the Cottage Garden Threads of the Month. And one month the colors were purple colors. And I picked these 4 from my Cottage Garden sampler threads. And see how beautifully variegated they are? And my colors are Jacaranda, Allium, Foxgloves, and Amethyst. So I picked these 4, and then I was looking how many skeins of floss that were recommended, and I needed a little bit more than that. So I picked up these 2 Victorian Victorian motto threads that I had in my stash also. And one is pastel purple and the other is dipped in purple. So I'm going to use all of these lavendery purpley colors. And I am going to stitch it on this piece of 32 count Lugana in the color Whisper. And it's very, very, very light gray color with all of these lavenders. So that's going to be a new start on June 11th. I'm going to get this started next month. So that is, I think it. Is it? Oh, that is it for stitching, everybody. My other craft that I do sometimes, and ladies seem interested in it. So if you're not interested, this is the end of my cross stitch, as far as I know, unless I go on a tangent about something else cross stitch. This is the last, the only thing, all I have left to show for cross stitch, what I've been working on. But I also diamond paint, and I had showed a couple of diamond paintings I'd done before. This blouse drives me nuts. It's like too big on the neck hole. And I've got it tight as the thing will go. I diamond paint also, and I had showed a couple of diamond paintings on one of my previous, maybe 2 or 3 videos back, and ladies enjoyed it and liked that I showed it. So I thought I'd show 2 more that I have finished and have framed. This first one I think you can still get. These are both from Diamond Art Club. So if you look up Diamond Art Club, you can order from them. They are an American diamond art company. Sorry for the reflection. There is glass in this, so you're going to see my windows across my craft room. Sorry about that. But this one is Nefertiti. And she is one of the smaller ones I've done. She's not that big. You know, she's only probably, I don't know, 14 or 15 inches wide by maybe 2 feet tall. And what I thought was pretty about her is she comes with a lot of gems. So if you look here, you can see through the reflection of the glass, there's some gems up there in her headpiece. And there are more gems down here in her necklace. So when you get down here, there are gems down in here. Sorry for the reflection. She is in glass. So that is Nefertiti by Diamond Art Club. And like I said, I think she's still available. This next one I'm going to show is not available anymore. And I forgot who the artist was for this one. But that is her. So I can hang her back up on the wall where she belongs after this video. And the next one is, I've had her hanging up here in my craft room, or not hanging, but actually behind me in some of my videos. She's one of my kind of fall pieces because there's a pumpkin in it. And I call her, she is discontinued. She's a Mandy, by the artist Mandy Manzano from Diamond Art Club. But she has a pumpkin, and I call her Cinderella, but that wasn't the name I think they gave her. I can't remember what the name of this one was. But unfortunately, she's not available anymore. But this just shows some of the pretty diamond paintings that you can do. So this is what who I call Cinderella. It's a princess with her, I wish it didn't reflect because it's like those windows are so reflective in there. And I frame these myself. I go and I find a frame that's very close. And if I have to trim it down a tiny bit, like I think I had to trim a tiny bit off the bottom here and maybe a little off the sides or something. But I wanted to make sure and get her head all the way in, so I think I lost a little bit of her gown down here. But I was able to pick this frame up at, I think it might have been Hobby Lobby, when they have their frames 50% off, and so it was probably $20. And then what I do is I took this back piece off, and I sprayed it with Elaine's tacky spray. and I sprayed it really good, and then I adhered her down to the board in the back, and then put her in the frame. Easy, easy peasy. So, and then on Nefertiti, her frame was a little too big. So what I did was the back piece here, the back side of it was black. So I flipped it around where the black side would be on the front, and I mounted, I sprayed her, I trimmed off the, you know, the edges where it has the color key and where it says Diamond Art Club. And I just trimmed it right up to the beads. And then I centered her on that black board. So this is part of the black. And just adhered her with the Aleene's tacky spray onto the board that came with the frame. So again, I think it cost me maybe $20 to frame, you know, this lady, this piece. So that is my diamond painting that I was going to show you guys today. I'm working on one that is called Elizabeth right now, and when I get her finished, I'll show her to you. I work on her sporadically, but she's laid out on my desk, so anytime I feel like just sitting there and putting some diamonds in, easy to do. And I think that's it. I think that is it. I didn't, this was kind of impromptu. Like I said, it was just, I said, you know what, I got an hour this afternoon, I can sit and stitch, or I could film a video. So I thought, let me film a video, because who knows when I'll next have an hour that I can just, you know, I'm free, and not all dirty from working in the yard and sweaty. And so I thought, let me get over here and do a video. So thank you guys if you stood in here this long. My next video should be my mania wrap up. And my May wrap up of what I've done in the month of May. And I think that's it. I can't think of anything else I needed to tell you guys. Now, when I shut this video off, I'll probably think of it. I'm going to have to write it down and put it in the next video if there's something that I didn't think to tell you guys. So I wish all of you much health, happiness, and a great few weeks, a great rest of your month here, a great rest of May. I know kids are getting out of school soon, if they haven't already. Graduations are coming up. And summers are right around the corner, which is unbelievable. So I wish you guys just the best, and you guys are the best. I want to tell you, if nobody else tells you today, you guys are special. You really, really are. Each and every one of you is special in your own way. And I just wish you guys the best. And I thank you that you take the time to watch my videos. I really do. And that you bless my heart with your comments, and that you just patronize my channel. And, you know, I don't do this for any kind of money or anything. I just do it, you know, for the love of cross stitch and just to connect with you guys. Oh, I know. Speaking of connect, I wanted to try to set up, oh shoot, I know I promised that I wanted to do a stitching thing, and I'm thinking I might do it at a Panera here in Fredericksburg. I just get so nervous about trying to pick a time and a day, and then I'm afraid the Panera is going to be packed and there's not going to be anywhere for us to sit, and then it's going to be a whole fiasco, because I'm not really good at planning things. Like I said, I just kind of turned on my my camera and started filming today. But I wanted to try to set up, probably during the week, set up just an impromptu, just a regular, you know, hey, I'm going to be at the Panera this time on this day. If you're in the area and you want to come and you're free, come stitch with me. Kind of just like a little, you know, let's meet and stitch. But shoot, because today's already the 10th of May. I still have stuff going on this month. I might have to wait until June. Maybe at the end of May, I'll be able to tell you guys maybe a date that we can maybe meet in June. And so keep that in the back of your head. I don't want to keep promising it and never fall through, but I am trying to kind of get a date set up to do that. So I appreciate all of you. I wish you the best. I wish you lots of happy stitching time, and like happy stitching time, not stitching time, you know, because you're sick or something. You can't do anything else. Happy stitching time. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I know in the Southern Hemisphere, you guys are heading into cooler weather, but probably not too cold yet. This is probably your fall. And everybody across the world is probably enjoying some nice weather, for the most part, nice weather. Everybody stay safe, happy, and healthy, and well. And I will see you in probably about, for my May wrap up, maybe 3-ish weeks, sometime in the beginning of June. And I am going to brainstorm and try to come up with a date. I know I've got a couple of things coming up in June also, but maybe I can schedule something around those things. So you guys, I love you all, and thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. I'm going to try to stop rambling and wish you guys the best. See ya.